Hello, it's me, Jack-a-Lopium. Welcome along. We're back. Why is this not going? We are back playing some Dwarf Fortress. We've been away for some time. I have played some off camera, but not a whole lot. I've been ingrained in a Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough. I think it's pretty wonderful, although it's a bit frustrating that I have to play on the lowest of low graphics settings, because even though I thought I had an up-to-date graphics card X number of months ago, I don't anymore, apparently, and it's way too hefty. But that's what I get for being a boring nerd and like never prioritizing the graphics card. But anyway, let's go. We are back in the dwarf hold. Lots of stuff's changed. I actually haven't been recording because I had a little bit of a bad experience. I actually had a crash of Dwarf Fortress crash. I'm sorry to say, I mean, that was the first time this version has ever crashed, right? I do have to report this, keep it all above board, all part of the kind of criticism piece. I try to be as positive as possible, but I do want to report, technical faults. And this has been really stable so far. Again, I'm sorry to say that the kind of old free version of Dwarf Fortress did crash once or twice in the old days. I mean, this is such an indie game that there is literally 2 people that work on it, and obviously you've got all of this pathing and all of this complex nonsense that none of us, it's basically magic, you know what I'm saying? None of us are gonna ever understand. You know what it's like anyway. Basically, we've had some good and had some bad. The kind of main bad was I was planning out my big epic communal dining hall as the music swells. I planned it all out and it was huge. But then the sodding game crashed. So it took me ages to plan it all out. And then didn't save it. Like an idiot. But yeah, other than that, we've mostly been pretty good. The one other kind of bad thing is, and I should tell you, because I made the mistake. I made the mistake. And I would hope that you wouldn't make the same mistake as me. I mean, what kind of YouTube BS artist would I be if I didn't do my due diligence? I'm not Illuminati. Crikey. Yeah, basically, bones. Look, this is my total number of population. 129. Basically, I've set the game at 130 max pop. And the way you set your max pop is you go into the main settings. I believe it's in game. It's all the way down here. Where's the number 130? That's an indication of what the population cap is. Look at all of these sodding options that you can tweak. You can read them off and experiment with them to your heart's content. But your population cap, you kind of do want to set it at some point, I would suggest. If this is your first time, giggity, that you set it much lower than 130. I mean, you can just keep cranking it up. But the max number of the population cap is like the number of kind of hungry mouths, the number of bedrooms you're going to need to hollow out. I kind of picked 130 because I'd been playing the game with no population cap like an idiot. And then I realised that I was continually getting swamped with people, so I should set the population cap to something manageable. The reason why it's 129 and not 130 is because there have been a number of dwarf deaths, and they've died to the exact same thing every single time. If we go down to our... No, it's up, isn't it? That's where our afterlife... Where is it? It's not there either, is it? No, it's down there. Yeah, our spiritual side, including our kind of temples and the graveyards. Look, there's been a few dead. There's one there, and there's like 4 there. So 5 guys dead. I've honestly never had a dwarf die before, but I made such a big mistake this playthrough. And yeah, I'd better tell you what it is. Okay, remember in episode whatever 1, where I told you, oh yeah, I'm gonna take a bone carving dwarf so I can like immediately start carving bones straight out of the gate, right? Well, I kind of misremembered. You actually don't need a bone carving dwarf straight away. What you actually need is bones. So either take a bunch of bones with you, and then maybe a bone carving dwarf. It's up to you. Everything's up to you. Doesn't really matter. Play it however you want. I'm not your mum. But yeah, you just don't have any bones, and bones are one of the things your dwarfs will occasionally like decide to craft up a beautiful masterwork item, and for that masterwork item they need bone to carve and attach to their masterwork item. If you don't have any bones or any kind of materials whatsoever, your dwarfs who want to cast the masterwork items will get very, very mad, to the point of going insane, stripping off all their clothes and running around naked, or sometimes they go crazy and kill all other dwarfs. I've been a bit lucky that I've only had dwarfs just strip off and run around naked. It is quite funny. There's occasionally like a trail of blood where people just like take pot shots at them, you know, like kind of like cold cocking these like naked dwarfs running around. It's pretty funny in a kind of weird way. So yeah, you want bones, and I mean we are 5 years in, and I've still got no sodding bones. So yeah, either bring a bunch of bones with you on embark, or look at this. This is the dreaded cat explosion, right? So there's just billions of cats running around, and I mean it's kind of good, kind of bad. Good because we can just slaughter them all and eat them. I mean, everybody wants cat for tea, don't they? They want a nice, scrumptious cat for lunch. But also what you need to remember is you'll get a kind of guy that comes around who takes requests for what you want the trader to bring. Look at that, 4. Now that's probably at least one crazy dwarf running around who's not long for this world. So keep your eyes open. There might be a naked dwarf running around. I mean, you know, take the kids out of the room. Is that the saying? But yeah, look at what we've been. Look at how it's changed since last year. We've got a bunch of plots here. Actually, is that even possible? Let's cancel a couple of these. I think the rest of it's okay. Yeah, I decided to do a second set of temples, but I've obviously not put in the altars at the moment. I would like several kind of larger of these temples as well, just for the kind of main religions. Just because a lot of them are now complaining because our population is so high that they can't get into worship again. So even though we've got a set of temples, the guys just don't get a chance to worship. So that's where a lot of this kind of misery guts is coming from. It is, the general tendency is to go into the happiness. I mean, that is a good number of people. 37, 33, 23, 12, 18, that's bad. But they are kind of transitioning from right to left. So people are, in general, getting happier. So I'm happy with that, but we need to do more. That's the game. We always need to do more. So yeah, let's look at these messages. Okay. Cats adopting children. There you go. These are the masterpieces that I was talking about. There's been 4. No, 3? 3 masterwork pieces. See, again, because we're getting such a massive population, there's literally like one person creating at least one masterpiece at any time now. So I need bones. You know what I'm talking about. I need bones. Giving birth to a lamb. Visitors. Let's get rid of the masterworks. Yep, there's the guilds. Talking about the guilds. This is going to be my kind of nobles section as well. The Baron lives there. Yes, we've got a Baron at the moment. Look at this. I'm still leaving the pop-ups going. The Charlie Soros, the leader of the expedition, is now a duke. We've got a mayor. We still keeping these positions vacant until I kind of need them. Who else is there? We've got a militia commander, a manager, which is a useful guy to have. It means you can give your dwarfs a work order. We've got a broker and a bookkeeper who's actually the same person at the moment. You can kind of skirt around and exploit it a little bit. It means you don't have to build like 2 offices or, you know, like 2 houses for 2 positions. You can just, you know, give 2 positions and they will eventually get PO'd with that. They will eventually get annoyed with that from having too much work. And all of my nobles are, of course, angry as hell. You're always going to get really angry nobles. They are a pain. And lots of the kind of veteran Dwarf Fortress players tend to kill off their nobles because they are painful. They're painful to you as a player. But let's go on with the tour. So the nobles and the kind of guilds people are going to be in a separate floor, a separate section. Going on up to the, the housing area. This is, every dwarf has his own cell kind of thing. He's got a door. He's got a chest. He's got a smoothed out room because they prefer smoothed out rooms, but you've got to try and complete the smoothing rather than have spots where it isn't smooth. I'm going to get rid of that chest and I'm going to build another chest. Which one was it? I can't even remember. But there's one, there's two. You have to kind of find ways to bodge your way through this. You'll never have enough time, not ever. And especially as your population increases, it's a nightmare. I'm trying to put down statues as well. So yeah, the bedrooms. Again, like I say, if you want to keep your number of potential bedrooms down, you've got to control your number of potential citizens by putting in your population cap. And yeah, some of the rooms are irregular, some of the corridors are irregular. That's just where I found like resources, like gems and like metal ores, like hematite, but this is tetrahedrite. And so you do want to cut out as much kind of ore as possible and as many gems. I've talked about how useful gems are. If you get started on your gems, they bring in so much money. See anything else? Yeah, this is the second floor of bedrooms. It's only just started, really, but obviously there's room to expand. That's why I quite like this this kind of mountain structure, because if you go up, that's where your dwarves are sleeping, and then if you go down, all the way down to the ground floor, this isn't anything at the moment, but this is going to be the military floor, because obviously you want your security front facing, outwardly facing, at least to start with. Again, as you start to hollow out and move down through the earth, you'll want a second kind of military floor as well. But right now, we're not even at the stage of underground exploration. I've had to move the trade depot because when you get to population of 50, that's when you get your first kind of noble, if you will, that's when you get your baron, right? And by the time you get 50 guys also, the merchants are sending a ton of trade your way in a caravan, and they won't come if you have nowhere to park up the caravan wagons. So it kind of needs to look a little bit like this. It has to obviously have enough room for your trade depot, obviously the entranceway. I've popped down a road. It needs a kind of road off map. I've again bodged it, but that's only because I don't have the concerned time at the moment. I will put it in properly when I have the time, but I've kind of bodged it. I've exploited it. I've attached the road just kind of like, it doesn't do anything. It's me. It's a proper bodge job because it's no help to anyone. It just tricks like the game's logic. They need a kind of safe and easy journey from any edge of the map, any map edge. So I've literally just joined it to the nearest map edge, and eventually I'm going to put a road and join up. It's probably going to take a few different roads. On the surface, I've got another kind of courtyard, but that's all like a road made out of bricks. And you obviously, it speeds things up as well. Roads, it speeds up and makes it easier for the merchants to get in and out. You also need, so it's basically 3 wide, as you might remember from earlier episodes, that's how wide a wagon is. It's 3 tiles wide. So your road's got to be 3 wide. Your whatchamadoodle, I think, is 5 wide. And then your road around the trade depot needs to be 3 wide as well. I've started placing statues as well, just to keep people a bit more happy while they're trading. Obviously, as I've detailed before, the corridors, the kind of main corridors, I want to put statues in just so that people get a nice little boost to happiness. So main corridor here from before, and then the new corridor here, that's going to be filled with statues. People are going to be happy when they go to trade. Started trading for metal ores, so these are literally the number of metal ores we've had, but that's going to be more and more. Again, I don't think I've got too many good ores. I've got like hematite, limonite, which are both iron ores, right? And then there is the tetrahedrite, which is kept separately. I believe that's like silver and tin. Silver and iron, maybe? I don't know. It's all science. I'm sure if you've got a good kind of like education in kind of geology, I think you'll do very well. Here is my bone collection, man. It's just like skulls, which are not bones, according to Dwarf Fortress logic. Kind of like seafood, shellfish shells are not bones either. So yeah, you can't even take skulls, I don't think. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be talking rubbish. But yeah, this is the main kind of crafting floor. It's gigantic, and it's also the same floor where the farms were. They're the same farms as before. Underground farms. I extended the farms out there to a second plot. However, I can't do a third one because the pond is super dry. It's going to take a while. It's going to take like a couple of probably even years of torrential rain to fill that pond. Or you can just drain it from there and put it in there, maybe. Perhaps we'll do that later. I don't know. But yeah, that's something that's going to have to happen at some point. Back to the surface real quick. I have decided to put in an overground farm, although it is literally just started. I'm still trying to improve the quality of the soil because there's so much rock. I tried to do it before, but it wasn't very good. I got part way there. It is a bit complicated to do an overland farm, and we'll look at that in a further episode. But that was the Doomsday Whistle. But let's do a little bit more looking around. Let's go back down underground. Back to the crafting workshops. I mean, I've decided on this kind of pattern. Kind of raw materials on one side, then up to 4 workshops in the middle here, and then on the other side is the finished goods of whichever crafting station. So craft dwarf, stoneworkers, craft dwarfs again, stoneworkers, because obviously you guys are dwarves. They're going to be mainly stoneworkers, but there are a couple of, clothiers. So that'll be all your kind of fabric, and down here is a leather worker. Up here is the gem crafter. Again, so important. don't know. Yeah, oh, nice. So that's rough, that's smooth. So that's cool, we can carry on with a bunch of gems, because I love funding everything with gems. And you can actually start putting in gems into, like, you know, stone crafts, just to encrust. You can gem encrust your stone crafts or your wood crafts or even your bone crafts, which, you know, I've mentioned and struggled with. So yeah, it's a decent. This is the metal worker. This is the fuel for your metal workers. So yeah, wood. And literally I've been tidying up as well. So everything is in its place. How freaking nerdy can you get? Everything's in its place. So one type of rock here, a different type of rock here. It's very anal. Wood in here for your fuel burners. There is a massive stone stockpile here that I put in to remove all of the cut down trees from outside, because the elves are starting to complain that I'm chopping down too many trees. And they can be quite spiteful as well. And there's some more wood. That's how much I'd cut down. I didn't even realise I'd cut down that much. And they were like, don't you cut down any more trees, or, you know, invasion time. So yeah, that was a bit of a wake-up call. Then this has been a thing for a while. And the stock houses, I've switched from wooden barrels to stone pots. So obviously there's people around the clock crafting stone pots, because like I say, the elves they've gotten right cranky because we're cutting down too many trees. Because there are some things that you can only cut out of wood, but you have to kind of then limit the other items. Or rather, I think it's wooden bins into pots. So while you do want bins and barrels to start with, you'll eventually get a complaint from the elves. So then just switch from bins to pots. And that's how you do that. And then you're going down even further. The stone stockpiles, like I say, this is literally just, I cleared up every single rock from the fortress. There is literally no loose rocks, just messily hanging around. Oh, it took pretty much a full day to do that. Like, I just got up one morning and just cleared out the whole thing. And you know, it was like having a real job or something, because like I went to bed quite tired, you know, after like 14 hours down the old mine. Yeah, and I think that's the lowest level so far. So yeah, obviously the next level down is where we will start to probably just as part, again, another floor of the fortress. But the further down you go, obviously, the more kind of like spooky nonsense you'll start running into. There is the current fortress. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tour. But yeah, let's carry on. Let's carry on with some more Dwarf Fortress. We'll start doing some stuff. All right, thanks for watching. If you do enjoy Dwarf Fortress, please do leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And you know, we'll just carry on solving problems, coming across even more problems, and solving those problems, then getting even more problems. You know, and that's the game loop, man. It's crazy. All right, thanks for watching. Bye for now.
I'm sorry about the balls.